It's your girl, Michelle D.I., Mrs. Divine Intervention herself. To all my helper bees out there, you know who you are. Those that are always helping everyone else and neglecting yourself. Yes, boo, look in the mirror. I'm talking to you. Here to let you know God has not forgotten about you. I've been sent on divine assignment. It's time for Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free. 30 minutes for your mind, your body, spirit, and emotions. And don't act like you don't have time. You have time for everyone and everything else. Sit back and relax because if you're here, that means this show is for you or it's for someone you know. But most likely, it's for both of y'all. Deep breaths, love. Let's go. Well, hey family, hey family, hey family. It is your girl, Michelle Allen Franklin. Yes, honey, Mrs. Michelle D.I. Why? You know, for divine intervention, because there are no coincidences in this world. Only God's divine intervention in our lives. And Mrs. Community Builder, why? Because you know your girl is going to bring you the good information, boo. The things you need for your mind, your body, your spirit, and your emotions. And family, if you hear my voice, you know that it's Monday and we are on the radio. And your girl is just happy about it. I am so grateful. So, if you've been listening, and I know you've been listening, so you know that June for your girl, Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free family, it is Men's Month. And so we have been talking about just different topics that affect our men and things that are not just so out there in your face, right? I like to talk about some of the subconscious things that you may not even know are affecting your spirit. And so it is Men's Month. What I want to say is thank you. Thank you to everyone. I have been getting so much feedback, and I just appreciate, I do not take for granted anyone who takes a minute out of their day to say, hey, thank you for what you're doing. Well, I appreciate what you're doing. And so I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Another thing I want to do really quickly is I want to give my church, the Church of the Living God, PGT, a shout out. We had our annual convention this past Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Dallas, giving the Dallas church for hosting Pastor A.K. Henson, Bishop. Let me get it right. Bishop A.K. Henson. He is the youngest bishop on the Bishop Council. Hosted our convention this year, our annual convention, and it was amazing. This year, they did a little something different where they allowed they formed a young committee of members that have grown up in the church, but that have aged out of the convention and put together a group. Sister Williams, is of Starville Church of the Living God, is the youth director, and she put this little dream team together, and they did an amazing job. And so I just want to give them a shout out and say, well done. It is something to recognize, and this is for all of the churches, for all of the pastors to know that it's something to recognize that you are not going to be here always, right? And so, what are you doing at your church to make sure that your church is going to continue and is going to live on after you have gone on? And so, teaching and involving the younger generation, we want to be there. We want to learn. We want to help, right? And not just sometimes. And we have great ideas as well. And so just want to give a shout out and to encourage some people. Um, use your young people. Use your young people. And so, and then just to thank my bishop, my pastor, Pastor Dr. Hopes of Church of Living God. We call it the Palace there on 1326 North Palace. Thank you to my pastor for being the amazing leader that she is and inspiring and empowering us every week. Uh, so, again, it is June. It is the last, oh, nope, next to the last Monday in June. It's the fourth. Look, now I got to look at a calendar. Did I say that right? Hang on. Let me get it together. Yes, next Monday. I feel like it's another Monday. Yes, this is the fourth Monday in June. There's another Monday. It's 5 Mondays this month in June. So there's another Monday. We'll be back for Men's Month and we'll end next week. So this week I want to talk about vulnerability. I want to talk about vulnerability in the church and just being a Christian man, being Christians, and just being a man and being open, right? The benefits of being open and what does that look like? What is that? Why is it important? Right. One of the biggest stigmas out there is that it is a weakness to be open, to show emotion, to cry, any of it, right? To talk, just to express your feelings. That is somehow a weakness, and I'm here to just shed light and have this uncomfortable but necessary conversation and let you know that being open is powerful and it is much needed. The power of a man's testimony shifted my life. It shifted my trajectory. It shifted me to healing, hearing a man's testimony. And we hear, other women speak all the time, but it is something about when a man is standing and is able to be vulnerable and is able to share and is able to heal, and you guys are our leaders, right? I know that it's who run the world girls. Okay. I know all of the things, right? But we need you. We need you as leaders to be examples. And so here we are being open, the strength of vulnerability. What does it mean to be open? Being open means to express your emotions. Here's the key: honestly. Honestly. I had a podcast episode this month with Bishop Aaron Henson, and we talked about, you men sometimes when you're sharing and with your friends, and you think about when you were younger, and if you liked a girl or something was going on, how you couldn't even be honest about that. If she hurt your feelings, you had to pretend like you wasn't hurt, right? You had to act, all these things. And so you had to act like you didn't even care. Well, you really did. And so that is the key word right there. Expressing your emotions honestly. Willing to share your thoughts and struggles is number two. Willing to share your thoughts and struggles is another way to be open. Being open means receptive to feedback. This is good right here. Receptive to feedback. Are you one of those people? Oh, you don't like nobody can't tell you anything. You can't say anything without you getting offended, without you feeling some kind of way. Uh-huh. Yeah, stop. Stop. Receptive to feedback, growth, and help. Trying to do it all by yourself. Receptive to feedback, growth, and help. Being open also means allowing yourself to be known, not just seen. A lot of you guys will show up, right? It's not that you won't show up, but you show up and you are literally hiding in the background, in the backdrop. You don't want to be seen. I'm in the background. I'm working. I'm doing the things. We need you in the front, allowing yourself to be known. I don't even know who that is. That's brother so and so. I see him in the back all the time. I don't know what his name is, but he's here working. He's here working, doing the things. Allowing yourself to be known, not just seen. And the last one of being open means taking emotional and spiritual risks for connection and healing. Taking emotional and spiritual risks for connection and healing. Here are some examples of being open. Talking about grief. We've been talking about grief a lot because that's just one of the things that I feel like people suffer in silence with, and I'm very, very passionate about it. And grief is not just death, right? Grief is a loss. It is a loss of relationship. It's just simply a loss. You could be a loss of employment. It can be empty nesting when you have gone and raised your children and now they're going on, right? To be grown little adults and you're home by yourself. That's a loss for you. You don't even know what to do with yourself now. So talking about grief, stress, and fear without shame. That's the key. Without shame, without feeling some kind of way, without not saying it because you're in fear that you're going to be judged. Do it anyway. Say it anyway. Second example of being open is excuse me, asking for help when you're struggling emotionally, spiritually, or financially. This is huge. This is huge, family. Asking for help when you're struggling emotionally, spiritually, or financially. And I'm going to just stay on this financial one because there are a lot of people out there struggling financially, and you really, really think that you're alone. And you have no idea. A lot of times I struggled way longer than I had to, just trying to not ask for help. When I had people that I could have asked, right? You have people in your life that you can ask, but with you men, that pride, that pride is something. Y'all have some egos, you know, that will have you suffering when you don't have to, especially if you're the type of person that is doing good things, that's going to school, that's always working, that hardly ever asks for help, that really, are doing what you're supposed to do, you will be surprised. People will be happy to help you. You just have to find the strength to ask. Number three, sharing with a trusted friend or mentor about things that are usually off limits. These are examples of being open. Sharing with a trusted friend or mentor about things that are usually off limits. That is, man, my marriage is failing and I don't know what to do. Man, I'm just finding myself every time that I'm feeling some kind of way, I'm finding myself at the bottom of this bottle. And I just really don't want to do that anymore. Man, I'm rolling up this weed, right? I'm rolling this blunt. I just really don't want to do that anymore. It's hard to try to shift from things that have held us, you know, captive, things that we've talked to. You have a desire to change. You want to do something different, but you haven't found the energy, the strength, the courage to have and find a mentor or person that you trust that have gone through that thing before or that's been here for just a little while longer than you, right? That may be able to support you through, that may be your person to call, maybe even it's a cousin or a friend. In the podcast, and I keep referring to this podcast because it's the latest one that I've posted. But in the podcast with Bishop Henson, he talked about when he was younger and in the military and over there and thoughts of suicide that came upon him. He talked about his first marriage and, that feeling of the relationship being over, and he didn't want the relationship to be over. And so he had thoughts of suicide. It is feeling like a failure in situations, right? These are things that are overwhelming. And he said he attempted suicide. Thank God he wasn't successful, right? But afterwards, he had a cousin that would call and check on him. He had another cousin, that would just come by and see him. That is what you need. Again, these are, maybe people in your life that you don't even know that you have a support system. But sharing again with a trusted friend or mentor about things that are usually off limits will help you. These are examples of being open. Number 4 is admitting mistakes. This is huge. Apologizing or forgiving someone. Admitting mistakes. It is something about just saying, I'm sorry. It's something about listening to something that you may have done to someone and them coming to you. And instead of you, oh man, I'm not listening to that. Or ain't nobody got time for that. Or, whatever. Or getting offended. If someone is coming to you and saying, hey, you hurt me when you said this or did this or whatever the situation is, you being able to listen and apologize, that's huge. That's half of the reason why our families are torn apart today. I'm talking to somebody. I said that's half of the reason why our families are torn apart today because somebody can't admit that they made a mistake, someone can't apologize, and someone can't forgive. I'm not gonna stay there because that's not my my theme today. But your girl has a podcast on unforgiveness. Go to the demonic entity series. It's on the YouTube channel, Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free. We talking about it. Number 5 is the last one of examples of being open, and that is attending therapy or opening up in a men's group, Bible study, or counseling sessions. Last week I gave some examples of places where you could go and talk where it is just for men, right? Because sometimes, you are afraid women are going to judge you, or you don't want to look or appear, quote unquote, weak, or whatever it is that you have in your, thought process that's holding you back. And so finding some other men that are going through the same things, counseling sessions, Bible study groups, those are places where you can get empowered and inspired and, get the fuel that you need to get you to the next point. These are some benefits of being open for men. Best believe it improves your mental and emotional health. It improves your mental and emotional health. It builds trust and deeper relationships. When I first moved down here, I moved back to Texas 10 years ago. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I was raised in Baltimore, Maryland. Let me say it like that. I was raised in Baltimore, Maryland and moved back here with my dad 10 years ago. And so some things happened that I just was not, used to, wasn't anticipating, very just a mess with my spirit. And I felt myself in this place. And I remember the first time I tried to talk to my dad about it, and my dad kind of blew me off, right? And I was just so hurt. And I kept thinking, oh, that's his generation. They really, they really can't, like I said, hear what's being said. If you say something and it's disrespectful, right? My generation is taught, and I'm 48, right? My generation was taught, if you say something, whether your parents are wrong or right, if you say anything, then it's disrespectful, right? And so, but I've just always believed in communication and knowing what that looked like. And so I was trying to talk to my dad, and again, he was really kind of blowing me off. And so about a year or so passed, and I tried again. And at that point, because when he blew me off, I felt hurt about it. And so when people feel hurt, they kind of back up. So you wondering why your relationships are different, why people don't call you as much, why you may not see people as much, right? Why things have shifted. You notice that there's a shift. You may not understand or know what the full reason is, but something has happened. And so I feel like my dad probably noticed that shift, right? I was still talking to him, I was still doing things, but not as much. And so, and I was very, and my feelings and my emotions were very, sheltered. And so when we talked that year later and he listened, it was almost like I lost 20 pounds. I had such a weight lifted off of me, you know, and the things that we talked about. And then my dad said to me, I'll never forget, my dad said, "Okay, are we good now?" He said, "Are we good? Is that it?" And some of the things were just things that, just some traumatic things that I just felt like we needed to talk about. And so I said to him, because I was newly diagnosed with PTSD at that time. And so I said to him, "Well, Dad, I don't know if this is it. This is all I have today." But I don't know if that's it, because I was going through therapy and things were coming up, and so I was remembering things and things were coming back to me. And so I said, "But thank you." You know what I mean? "Thank you for talking to me for this time, but I'm not sure." And so it is understanding that it's a journey, right? This is a journey of being open, being able to receive information, being able to talk to people, being able to receive. It's a journey. And so increasing your self-awareness and your confidence is another benefit of being open for men. It also leads to stronger faith because God works through your honesty. God works through your honesty. It reduces stress, anxiety, and isolation. It also encourages healing from past trauma or toxic masculinity. Before I go, I want to give you some examples of men who were open in the Bible. And so you have David. David's example was that he constantly cried out to God in Psalms with honesty. It's not about being perfect. He talked about fear, he talked about joy, he talked about guilt, and he praised. That shows strength and expressing your deep emotion, and then just being able to repent, right? Repenting from whatever you feel like you might be feeling guilty about. And who better to go to it with than God? How about Paul? Paul talked about this thorn in his flesh. We all are trying to be perfect, and we all are trying to act like we don't have any weaknesses and all of the things, but Paul talked openly about his weaknesses. And that openness became a source of strength and helped him to grow and helped others to grow through him. Like I said, I felt healing and growth by a man's testimony. And so imagine what your testimony would do. I know you've been through some things. I'm just saying, imagine. Right? Joseph. I cannot, Joseph is one of those people that I'm in awe of. It is the jealousy, you know, from people that are supposed to love you. So after years of betrayal and pain, he openly wept before his brothers in Genesis 45, verse 1 and 2. And why does it matter? Because it was an emotional release that led to healing and family restoration. So I'm asking you, in your all that you're keeping in and all that you're doing and all of that you're feeling, right? Instead of being open, all that you're holding, understanding that you are causing uh cancer to develop in your belly. You are causing reflux. You are causing the high blood pressure. You are causing the strokes. You are causing, right? All of these health issues, holding all this stuff in. Being open is not just because. God is not a just because God. This is not, if you're hearing this, this is not just because. I said in the intro, it's for you, maybe for somebody you know, but most likely it's for both of y'all. Right? Most likely it's for both of y'all. I did think about some examples of people. If you need to have, some people are like, oh, some people need examples of people that's well known. They said Dwayne The Rock Johnson is open about depression and anxiety, and he encourages men to talk about their mental health journey. Terry Crews is one that spoke out about childhood trauma, sexual assault, and toxic masculinity. His testimony is so powerful. You think about all of the guys that are bodybuilders or that have to lift weights, that are, very overprotective, that are seemingly angry all the time. A lot of those guys, a lot of you guys have been sexually assaulted. And so that is trauma. That is, PTSD. That is unprocessed trauma. It is undiagnosed PTSD that is residing in you. And what would happen if you actually took some time to heal from that and to release it? Michael B. Jordan, they say, recently opened up about grief after the death of Chadwick Boseman and learning how to be emotionally present. Because that emotionally unavailability, hiding, is something that most people do. We talked about it before, right? Hiding at work, hiding in different things. And then Kirk Franklin, who was just one of my favorite people, is, of course, we all know he's very transparent about his trauma, about addiction to pornography, and about, his relationship or lack thereof of his with his mom. And so I ask you today, where are you hiding? Why are you hiding? And I challenge you to talk to one person this week about something that you usually keep to yourself. James 5:16 says, confess your faults one to another and pray one for another that ye may be healed. And that is my prayer for you in this uncomfortable but necessary conversation and my push for you to be open. All right, family. Thank you. Been another divine intervention. Thank you for tuning in to Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free with your girl, Miss Michelle Di. Every week, we will have the uncomfortable but necessary conversations as it relates to your mind, your body, your spirit, and emotions. You suffered long enough. It's time to break free. So join me every Monday at 1 p.m. right here on KGLD Radio, where you can fill your spirit with gospel all day long. See you next week.